friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Cher, and today we have a very exciting one to me. We are going to be playing around with the Natasha Denona Xenon Palette. So new release from her. If you've been around my channel, you will have maybe seen where I teased you guys in the community tab. I was trying to decide between this one and the I Need a Nude palette by her also. And I was like, which one do you guys think I got? And you guys made your guesses, and it turns out I got both. But I'm going to do a separate video on each one. So today is going to be devoted all to Xenon. We're going to do more than one look, probably a few looks. And there's a couple things I want to test out, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But basically, you know, I got this, maybe you saw in my recent video where I went for my Ulta haul. I'm going to pick this up. So I'll also bring you the I Need a Nude soon too. So be looking for that one. And we might even do a video comparing the two. I don't know how I'm going to work all that. But anyway, so today's going to be all about playing with this beautiful baby. I have had my eye on her. I'm very excited. Here is how she looks inside for a first glance. I've seen lots of swatches. I've seen reviews. I'll talk about that in a minute too. So we're going to do some swatches first, and then we will start trying out some looks, and there's a few things I want to test and I'll talk to you about. So anyway, if that excites you like it does me, then stick around and let's go ahead and dig right on in. Okay guys, so let's talk for a moment about what I want to test. So I normally don't like to look too much at other reviews yet if I'm going to do a first impressions myself and kind of grab it when it's first launched, because I like to kind of have my own unbiased opinion and my first impression and what I think of it without opinions of others and stuff. I am a little later also to ordering this because first of all, I don't get it in PR, and second of all, I was later, you know, I didn't get it right away when Natasha Denona opened it up on her site. I got it more from Ulta. So it's actually probably a good thing that I'm a little behind and that I've been able to see other reviews, because there's a few things I've noted, and I don't know if I would have known this if I had just done a first impressions and only one look or something. And that is one of the things that I'm hearing and seeing with my own eyes from several different reviews and influencers is it takes on different shades for different people. So on some people, it comes out very gray, and on others, it comes out very blue. And, you know, even when they've done a few different looks. And so I'm very curious about this, and I was talking about it with my friend Alicia Budget Beauty. I talk about her often, and she just did a review, and it was very blue on her. So at first I was wondering, I was like, well, is it just from the blending? Because sometimes, you know, when you're working with silvers, they can really come out blue, you know, when you blend them together. And, you know, so I was wondering if that was one theory. She didn't think that, so she thinks it's more of a skin tone thing. And, you know, I have seen it definitely on several other influencers too. So another theory I have is, if it's not blending, is it a, how are you priming your eyes underneath issue too? Like, are you using more of a cool tone primer or concealer underneath that's bringing out more of these colors? I don't know. Or is it truly like your skin tone? Like it's almost changing and forming to your skin tone. I don't know. But I want to really test it out and play with it and see what it does on my skin tone. And so I'm not going to do just one look. I'm going to do a few looks, enough looks to be able to really make that judgment call of what I think it is. And also to be able to test out, like I'm going to do one look with a cool tone primer, and I'm going to do another look with my regular concealer. I'm going to try one where I'm not blending, where I have a technique where I don't blend, you know, as much. And we'll talk about that when I get to it. And then I'll have another one where I do, and I'm going to try to use up as many colors in here as I can to say, well, maybe it was certain colors and not others. We're going to play with all of that. So let's get started. I've been talking enough. I think what I'm going to do, my first look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do like I would if I was doing maybe bridal makeup for somebody. There is a light smoky look that's very popular. Everybody loves this look and asks for it. So I'm going to see if I can recreate that with this palette and see how it performs with it. So I'm just going to do it regularly like I normally would with a concealer on my eyes, and get my thoughts on it. And this will help me know if this is a blending issue or not too, I think. So Now, the only thing is that I normally would have like a brown warm shade in here somehow, and there ain't a whole lot. There's like no warm shades. This is about as warm as it gets, and that's a shimmer. So yes, this is definitely a cool tone palette. Obviously, you know, first thoughts on this, very cool tone palette, but you know that when you're ordering it. So I would not give a bad review of like, oh, it doesn't have enough mix of cool and warm. Well, you know that when you're buying it, that this is a cool tone shade. You know that if you love smokies and you love cool tones, this is, you know, the palette you're going to get. I have seen some reviews where people think it's just very monotonous and like you can't create that many different looks with it because it's all just the same smoky looks. So I guess I can test that out as we do different looks and see, does it all just look the same on me? I have seen one where they thought like, if you just get the mini Xenon, you're good. You don't need to spend the $69 on the full Xenon because it's still all going to create the same look. So we'll test that out. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Actually, first, let's swatch her. We're going to swatch her first. So I'm going to create swatches and I'll be right back because I don't want y'all to have to sit through all my swatches. Okay, guys, here is the swatches. What I tried to do was kind of put them in the rows of 3 like they are in the palette. Of course, I got them upside down because of how I have to hold my arm. Okay, so the ones that I started with and was noticing, I definitely see some blues. We got fairly blue tint here, which this surprises me right here. This is this shade, which looks very light gray white in the pan, in my opinion, but it comes off quite blue here. And then similarly, this shimmer right here, it's kind of gray, but I could see it turning slightly blue also. That's this one. Okay, then, so this top row, but this is pretty darn gray here. And these are fairly white, silvery shades. I don't see anything that is truly white. They all have a slight tint of silver, in my opinion. Do y'all see that? Yeah, I don't see anything that's truly white. Okay. Second row, I can see a slight blue tint here, slight blue tint-ish gray, but this is pretty dark, very dark. And we almost have a purpley, pinky, lavendery sticking out here. And yeah, that's pretty. I would expect that from how it looks in the pan. So I think that part of it is, or my initial impression is, a few ones surprise you. They don't look on the skin like they do in the pan. Some of them do, but some of them don't. And then we have this bottom row, if y'all can see it. Similarly, we got a fairly almost tan color here. I love that color, by the way. That's your closest one to like a warm tone, but it's still not really warm. Slight hint of purpley blue, pretty silvery blue gray. So I am seeing some blue tones, but I'm seeing some black and gray tones as well. And then, like I said, nothing is truly white. So that's your first impressions there. All right, let's get started. What I'm going to do is I am just going to use a normal concealer on my eyes like I normally would for me to test the first look out and see what I think, and just kind of see if this is more a blending thing. I don't know. And see, just give like, how does this come off on my skin? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spread concealer on here, and I'm going to set it, and then I will be right back. But I just wanted to let you know the first look is going to be used with regular concealer. This is actually almost even more of a warm toned concealer too, only because that's what I've been using lately, because that's what I have. Okay, guys, we are ready. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so also I want to point out that I will put timestamps in the caption so that if you want to skip and just quickly look at each look and get my take on each look, or skip to the conclusion at the end. I understand these reviews go very long, but I want to be very thorough today on this. So I'll kind of put it by you know, each look where you can find each one and the timestamps, okay? Make that easier for you. I'm gonna go ahead and start off. So what we're gonna create is kind of like a bridal light smoky look, like I would do on my clients. I do this look all the time for them. The key to not blending and turning it blue, if I want a more silver look, is that I start first with the white, like the light color in here, and then I add the smoky a little bit more on the outsides, and try not to blend so that it's not blending together so much. If you start with the smoky here and then you pile up the white on top of it, they start kind of blending some into each other, and that black with the white can create like a blue silver. So I'm going to try to keep them as separate as I can this way. I even will set some setting spray after I've put it down too. Another little trick. So we're going to see if that works and how it looks. What is the closest to, like, what light color do I want to use though? See, I would normally come in here on the bottom with like a matte first, like a white matte, like this one, or this one, or this one. However, all of these have, I've noticed, a tint to them. One has a blue tint, two of them have a fairly blue tint, and then another one has almost slight like brownie taupey tint. So none of them are quite the right matte that I want. So I think that may be part of it, is you don't have a good, like, just plain white with no tint matte layer on the bottom to put down first to put a shimmer over. So that could be part of it right there, is that your base matte color is already tinted, you know, is going to be tinted towards one of these colors. That's my take. Let's try Flurry. I'm going to go with Flurry because it's tinted a little slightly more warmy color toned. So I feel like it won't be as blue, because that's what I think is coming out as that blue. So I'm going to first start patting this down. So not going on super duper pigmented here. It's not showing up a lot on my skin tone, but I'm going to keep trying to pack it down. And what I'm going to do is get out my setting spray to try to intensify some of these colors. I am going to spray my brush. See if I can intensify it just a little bit. But on my skin tone, it doesn't show up a lot. And that's typical with me with like these white, lighter shades, because I have a lighter skin tone. They don't really pop. Okay, I'm gonna do the other side real quick, and then we're gonna come back with some shimmer over that. Okay, here we have it, guys. So now I'm gonna come back over that. I think I'm gonna pick this one right here. That is Neve, if I'm saying it right, N-E-V-E, but with the little accents on it, and dip it in. It's just like, it seems like it's the most pigmented, closer to white to me. And there's another one I'm thinking about too that's more of a silver, but I'm gonna try this one first. Ooh, pretty. See, these shimmers are what I got this palette for right here. Ooh wee. This one's not as pigmented, but it's still beautiful. It is. That's gorgeous. I love that shimmer. Yeah. So when Natasha Denona on her Instagram, she started putting these swatches out there when it first came out, and I was like, okay, gotta have it. After seeing those swatches, I was just like, oh, wowzers. And this is just the pretty like white down at the bottom. I can't wait to play with that silver one at the top, but I'm just trying this for right now because I want to see if I can not create the blue look at first. Now, nothing knocking blue. I love that this makes blue. Like, I would love it if I can create the blue also. So I'm going to do another look where I try to make the blue. Now we're going to go in and we're going to work with the smoky side. So I'm going to take this one because it's the closest to black. And I think that's what I'm just going to do, is very stark difference. So this is Night Sky. And I am just going to come here on the corner and start building it up. Kind of like a V. And then, oh, I forgot to spray setting spray though, guys, before I did this. Darn, completely forgot, but let's see how it does. Now comes the blend, because yeah, usually those transition shades can kind of help soften it and blend it more, but I'm just gonna try blending this way. You know, you just know you're not going to be getting any warm tone transition colors in this palette. It's going to be strictly a cool tone palette. And there we go, guys. I am going to pop on the rest, like eyeliner, mascara, falsies, and do my base, and we'll come up with lipstick or something. And I'll meet you back here in a moment to see how it all comes together. Okay guys, here is some more of the look put together. Before I put the lashes on, I'm going to come back in and use a little highlight pop. So I'm going to use some of that silver that I really wanted to try. I've already got a little bit right here in the inner corner and forgot to film. So this is called Stellar, and that's what I really want to dip into. So I'm going to use that to add a little touch of highlight, and that is stunning AF. And I'm going to put a little dab up here along the brow line too. Okay, that is what I'm talking about right there. That's the color. I think that's the shimmer that sold me. I think that might be the one she swatched that I was like, oh. Like $69 for this palette for that one shimmer, I think. No, that looks stunning. I love that. So I'm going to add it to the other side. And I'm going to pop on some lashes, take my hair down, and we'll see how the final look is here, and we will talk about it. All right, guys, here is our final look. Okay, let's talk about it. I freaking love it. So beautiful. This is stunning. I think what really sealed the deal was that one silver color, and that was the one that I was so drawn to immediately. And I think it was the one that she had swatched. No, here it is. Oh, that one right there. That was the winner. Okay, it's not looking that blue to me. I mean, there's a slight silvery tint as it's blending, but we definitely kept it pretty separate. It's turning exactly as I wanted it to. This was the look I was going for. This is what I would create in a bridal look. And I tried to kind of go with a dark red, you know, red lip, but not warm red. We wanted more cool red because obviously we got the cool tones. I put a little color in the cheeks just to, you know, feel pretty. So definitely a gorgeous smoky look. Stunning. I love it. Okay. So because we did keep that fairly separate, I'm going with my first guess. So far, my guess is that this is a blending issue. And I think that what's making it an issue is just maybe not picking the base colors with your blending to keep the gray, the true gray, black or white, you know, because you do have blue shades in here. I mean, there are blues in here. So depending on what you pick, you're definitely going to end up with a bluer look. So that's my guess in why we're seeing gray versus blue. But I will test it further. I could be wrong, because now we're going to try to create a blue look. But so far, I love this. I think this is gorgeous. What do you guys think? And you guys can vote for which is your favorite look if you want. But yeah, so stunning, so stunning, so stunning. Yeah, that last shimmer, that silver shimmer was incredible. Incredible, incredible. All right, so this is look 1. Let's move on to look 2. Okay, now we are back for look 2. We're gonna try to create a blue look this time on purpose. I cannot tell you guys how hard it is to have to remove that beautiful makeup. That was so stunning. Especially like when I got up to go get a cotton ball to like remove my eyeshadow. I'm sorry about the noise, guys. My neighbors are out there, I swear. But yeah, it was so hard to take that makeup off. It was so beautiful, so stunningly beautiful. And I started thinking about the formula, you know, for my review, because when I stood up and I went to go get my cotton pad to remove with my makeup remover and everything, you know, I looked in the mirror in the bathroom and, you know, you can see it more in person, and I was just blown away. I was blown away. It was so gorgeous and so pigmented, and it was actually probably a better smoky eyed look than I've ever done on a client. Like, I've tried a lot of different palettes for that particular look, and that was by far the best. That was so stunning and gorgeous. So great review on the formula. I wasn't sure while I was like spreading some of them, but when I saw how it came out on the look, I was like, okay, yeah, incredible. All right, but let's see how it's gonna do for a blue look. I'm gonna look at my swatches to see which ones are the most blue. Okay, I think we're gonna go with, it's gonna be kind of like blue smoky, but we'll have more colors this time. I'm not gonna necessarily separate them. I'm gonna kind of blend more this time. So I think I'm gonna start, what do I want for like a transition? I think I'm gonna start with this matte. It's called Snurl. This is it right here. Darker than I expected. So some of these definitely come out darker than you think. Like when they're in the pan, they definitely look different than they do on the skin. I am not gonna lie. But this one has a little more grayish, but slight bit of blue. So I'm gonna use that as kind of like a transition color. And by the way, I still stuck with my regular concealer again this time. The next look we do, we're gonna go with a cool toned primer and just see what that creates. But for right now, I went ahead and just did that same concealer again and set it with powder. That's blending beautifully, by the way. I like how this is going. So definitely making kind of a grayish blue so far. Okay, and already I'm seeing this is looking more blue. So I really think it is just all about the shades you're choosing, you know. Okay, I'm gonna come in with Ebb, which is a much darker, deeper, beautiful, shimmery looking shade. Always use this for like more of a corner, but I am, because it's so dark, I'm still gonna do a little on the corner here with it. I think that is so gorgeous. It's not as pigmented as I thought though, using this brush at least. Okay. Beautiful though, look at that. Can you see some of those sparkles? Yeah, it's not, definitely not as pigmented as I thought though. I thought it was gonna make like a really deep, hardcore, buttery blue. There we go. You do have to build it up a little bit. What is that? Sposh in the middle, just to have a new one. And we'll pop that a little in the corner also. Ooh, this is nice and sultry. I am loving this. So I really do love dark blue looks also. And so this isn't a bad thing if it's, you know, has some blue looks, because I love that it creates both. I love it because these are colors that I'm so drawn to also. And with Color Story, like on the color wheel, just know that, you know, brunettes like me, blue is like your best friend, because it is the opposite on the color wheel from brown, and it'll really make your eyes pop. So blue is one of your best colors as a brunette and as a Brown Eye Girl. I'm still gonna pop in a little of that night sky that we used before, because I still want a little black. Okay, there we go. So if you want a true black, you're gonna have to use night sky. There we go. All right, that's what I'm looking for. We're gonna do this because I know it had a touch of like a bluish tint to it, but that's our matte. That's Blizzard. Yeah, ooh, I like that. And I'm just gonna kind of blend it into this. There's a lot of noises in here because I've got kitties in here and a husband in here. So y'all just don't mind the noises. Now we're gonna get into the one I really want to play with, which is this Super Ionic. Y'all, I love this palette so far. I am like about to let out a big old squeal. Ooh, like that. There's my squeal. Okay, stunning. All right, look at that, guys. Ooh, yes, yes. Very gorgeous. That's what I'm looking for. I'm just gonna blend a little bit more of the blue into it so it all kind of blends together. Once again, eyeliner, mascara, lashes, a little more base and something for the lips, and we'll be right back in a moment. Okay guys, here she is. Once again, I think I'm gonna come back in for just a touch of highlight here. This time, what should I try? What highlight have I not used? A little pop of highlight. I'm gonna put some up here. Pretty. Yeah, okay. It's a little more subtle than that other one, but it still works for a great brow bone. And I might try some right here. See what we think. Yeah, pretty subtle, but just an extra little bit here to try it out. Might even use it for highlight on the rest of my face. What y'all think? Just to play with it, you know? Okay, and then I will try a little touch. I know it sounds silly, but I'm gonna use it for highlight. Just to see. All right, so here is the second look. We definitely pulled off blue, definitely blue. Okay, so I really am thinking, I think it's just the color story. I think you just got to pick different shades. And I think you need to kind of like be careful about what you're using as your base, because there really are only like two truly silver, like white colors in here that are not going to have a tone, like a blue tone undertone to them. So I think that's really what it is there's not a lot of options to keep it truly silver and not blue. So you just got to know what those options are though. So I think that's part of what it is, and knowing how to do it without it blending together. And then, so yeah, I don't think it's a skin tone thing. I think it's just your color story in here and knowing the combinations that are going to create what looks, you know? So I love the blue that it created. Love blue. All right, I think I'm going to do one last one. We're going to do a third look. This time I am going to try out some pink undertone base underneath, see if it makes a difference. But I think I will, I'm just going to try to play with some of the other ones that I haven't messed with yet, but try to stay away from anything that I think might make a blue look, and just make sure we're still going to be able to create another look. I'm kind of almost leaning more towards seeing if we can make more of like a pinky brownie look. But see, there's one I still haven't used, and that's this one, which was a true gray. So I don't know, because if we do that gray, it's gonna be harder to create like the pinky. So I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, we're gonna play with look 3, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Okay guys, we are back for look 3. Now this time, I went ahead and I primed my eyes with more of a cool tone, like pinky concealer. So I used the P. Louise base. And then I used that new One Size pink setting powder to set them. So you can tell the difference here. This is a lot more cool tone. I don't know. I'm just going to see if it makes any difference too, although we're going to be using different shades this time. But yeah, that was one of the things I had wanted to test out, although I think that I now know the answer, honestly, without having to test it. But since I had wanted to do that, I will. All right, this time we're going to try to create the slightest bit more pinky tones in it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just want to use the rest, like use some of the ones I haven't used yet. That's hard. You just really don't have a good matte that doesn't have a grayish bluish tone to it. So I'm going to come back again with that same base, I think, right here, and lay that one down. That's our closest to a true, like, whiter tan almost, but it's not. It's still going to have a gray, but it's not even showing up, is it? Yeah. Not even showing up on top of my pinky toned primer. So, you know what I didn't think about was even like a carbon smoky eye. I don't think you could really create a great carbon smoky with this. Here's why. With a carbon smoky, you still want a brown base. You want some kind of like tan or brown color to first go down, and then you put the black all solid over that. Otherwise, you end up very ashy and silvery, and it's not a true carbon smoky look. So you're not going to be able to create a carbon smoky look, I don't think, with this. But I think that I'm going to try to get a silver version of a carbon smoky is what I'm thinking of doing. I don't know. Instead of using brown, I'm going to use the closest to a brown with these tones, even though there's shimmer. I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box here, but you're not gonna be able to create a carbon smoky. So that's maybe one con of this, because this is definitely a cool tone smoky palette, but you can't, you're ruled out from doing a carbon smoky on it automatically. Yeah, I'm just gonna play with this. This is called Skift right here. And I'm gonna pretend it's a matte, even though it's a shimmer, and just see what it looks like. It barely goes on. Let me see if I can just do it with my finger. Yeah, it's like not showing up on my skin type. That's very pretty. Like, you can see a little slight bit of shimmer. If you wanted just a light whatever, you could almost do this with no black on your eyes at all. Yeah, that's pretty. There's a slight like champagne to that. So that's the closest you're gonna get to a warm tone in this palette. And that, yeah, it's super pretty. But yeah, that's not what I was thinking. Let's see what the Snowbow looks like. This is a little more purple tone. And just blend them together and see. Yeah. It's like lavendery snowballs on my eyes, which is cool. I mean, that right there creates a really pretty look, you know? Not the look I was thinking of, though. So yeah, if you wanted just a nice soft, like slight pink tinted snowball shimmer eyes, you can just do these two shades right here. Put that flurry as a matte base underneath it, and then lay over these shimmers. I mean, that could be a look in and of itself, you know, more of a holiday sparkles. I mean, this is perfect for the holidays, guys. It really is. So maybe we'll just go with gray with it. So it's pinky tinted. And then I'm going to play with something with this. I don't know what to do with it. Let's see. I'm going gonna start like building it up on the edges at first. And if I decide I want to cover the whole lid, I will. Ooh, pretty. I mean, you could just make like this silvery, pinky, gray, holiday, snowball sparkles look, you know? I think I have seen a look with this combination on Natasha Denona's site. Some of her models have used something like this. I'm gonna just make like 3 layers of shimmer, I think, and make it pretty soft. Yeah. So like a really soft carbon smoky shimmer. I think that's what I'll do. Yeah. Go. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that'll be really pretty. And it just makes like silver eyes. Okay, so I'm just coming in and building it up a little more at a time so that like all the colors are kind of sparkling together and you're creating this almost like iridescent, shifty holiday glitter look of like the pink and the gray together. I need to blend it out better though. And yeah, because partly I'm doing it with my fingers, but I'm gonna add a little touch more of the champagne. If that makes a difference. I'm just trying to kind of come up here and line the top so it's blending down into the gray. So I'll throw on the eyeliner, mascara, more base, lips, lashes. We'll just see how it comes together. And if I want to change anything up, I can after that. I just want to see what it looks like when we get good like eyeliner and stuff. So I'll be right back. Also going to use the pink concealer under my eyes too, in keeping with the pink theme. So just wanted to let you know that that's the route I'm going with this. All right, guys, here is this look now. Not at all what I was imagining. However, I really like it because I do think it gives a gorgeous like holiday frosty look. What do you guys think? Yeah, very frosty. So, and I went with a little more light, like nude shade with this to kind of lighten everything up a lot and give it that like frosty feeling with it. So yeah, I'm just picturing like a silvery snowflakes on the eyes. It did turn slightly blue though, I will say. It's a little more blue. So I think it is just most of the grays in here has a blue tint. I think that really is what it is. I don't think it's that I have the cool toned underneath. Yeah, I really think that it just, because it's on my wrist too, you know, I can just see, and especially when you're blending together some of those colors, yeah. I think that most of them just do have like a blue undertone. And if you want a true gray or silver or black, there's only like 2 to choose from to do that. And you're just going to have to stick with those. I really think that's what it is, honestly. But anyway, that's it. Okay. So my thoughts overall. So I think that the folks out there who feel like it's all monotone and there's only so many looks you can create, I think they're wrong. We just did 3 very different looks. And I still think that there's a couple more I could do. And even like as we were creating the kind of more white silver look, that was a whole separate look too, you know? So I think there's at least 4 or 5 good looks you can get out of this palette. I think though that it is leaning more blue on most of the shades. So I think that's why you're seeing a lot of blue. And I think that yes, there are some things you're limited on, you're not going to be able to do, like that carbon smoky eye you can't do, which is going to be, usually you would think would be classic with a smoky palette, but no, you can't do that without a warm tone. So it's going to be an all cool tone. So it's just, this is a cool tone palette. If you love cool tones, I think it's a fabulous palette. If you don't love cool tones, not going to be the palette for you. I think that's really my take on it. So I think it is a stunning absolutely gorgeous, amazing palette for the cool tone lovers is my take. And I do think that it's still versatile and you're still going to get different looks out of it. So no, I don't think you should limit yourself to just the mini, because I think there's more that you can create. I do though, the only negative really I think is that it is going to lean more blue toned on a lot of your looks. For me, that's fine. I love blue tones too. I know that I can create enough of the gray, or you know, that other smoky that I wanted with this, but most of your dark colors are creating bluer looks is what's happening. And then most of your mattes, like I probably, if I could critique, I would have added another more white matte and maybe like one warm tone, undertone matte to be able to build some of those other darker, smoky, carbonite type stuff. And I probably would have made yet like one more like really good black, true black or true gray shimmer or matte in here. So I think that might be what's lacking. So, but overall love it though. And I'm in love. I love the formula. And I think it is creating I think it is going to be amazing for holidays. And this is truly supposed to be like a holiday type palette anyway, guys. And it's limited edition, so it is with the holidays in mind. So I think that when you're thinking more of the holidays, this is an amazing, perfect palette for that. So that's my take on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what was your favorite look, 1, 2, or 3. And that's it. Make sure you stay tuned for my next one, which is the review of the I Need a Nude palette. I know I'm late on that one too. And also stay tuned for more of those hauls that we did, testing some of the products out. And I think that was everything. Yeah. All right. So make sure that you pop that subscribe if you haven't already, because you'll want to see all these future reviews and future makeup looks and playing with stuff. I do a lot of beauty boxes on my channel too, unboxings, try-ons, and spoilers. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.